Hello everyone, I'm Sammy, and I am so glad that you joined us today. This is the start of our new series called Real Stories of the Bible Part 2. Our story today is on the creation. The creation story from the biblical book of Genesis describes how God created heaven and earth, plants, animals, and people. Now keep in mind that all this took place in 6 days. All because the Bible tells us that God rested on the seventh day, and He was done creating and placing everything in its place. The team is getting ready for this exciting story today. I'll be back next week with another Bible story for you. See you.
He said, let there be light, and there it was. It was a super bright day 2. He made the sky so blue. It was so cool, the sky so blue. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Day 3 He split the land from the sea and planted trees with lots of seeds. Day 4 He put the lights in the sky, the sun for day, the moon, stars for night. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Day 5 He made the fish in the sea and in the air. He made the birds that sing. Day 6 He made the creatures on the land. Then last of all, woman and man. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth God gave them every little bit. He blessed them both and said, rule over it. God said that all He made was very good. Then on the seventh day, well, He took a break. In the beginning God
Hi everyone, I'm JV the Bible Junkie. I'm really glad to be here with you today. Our verse is a very short, but powerful verse today. It's found in the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. NIV. Now everyone, at the count of 3, I want you to say the verse with me. Are you ready? 1, 2, and 3. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. NIV. That was great today. I love the story of creation, and I love to read it again and again. Just because this shows me the love and concern that God has for all of us here on planet Earth. The team is waiting in the wings, ready to jump into today's lesson. So, make sure to listen because I know that you will learn a lot today. I'm JV the Bible Junkie, and I will be back next week.
Hey everybody, I'm Clyde. Welcome to my clubhouse. In the beginning of time, God created a beautiful world. Day 1, He created day and night. Day 2, He created the sky along with the stars and moon at night, and the sun during the day, along with seasons and years. Day 3, He separated the land and the waters. Day 4, He created the trees, grass, and plants with all kinds of seeds to grow things. Day 5, God filled the water with all kinds of fish and created the birds of the air. Day 6, He created livestock and wild animals. Then on this day, He created man and woman, and He called it good. On the 7th day, God rested. I just gave you a bird's eye view of the story of creation. I'll see you all back here at the clubhouse next week.
Hello everyone, I'm PF, and I'm glad to be here with you. Today we start with the story of creation. I will be covering the first 3 days along with insight into what God's day consisted of in comparison to our timeline here on Earth. So let me get right to it. In Genesis chapter 1 verses 1 through 5, it tells us about the first day. On that day, God created the heaven and the earth, and God said, "Let there be light," and then separated the darkness from the light. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. So this was the first day of creation. On the second day of creation, God separated the waters from the waters, which were called the vault. One vault was the waters of the earth, while the other one was the waters or the vault of the sky, as we know it. And this is the second day of creation, so there was morning and there was evening. Now, getting on to the third day, on this day God separated the waters on the earth to gather them at certain places. Then He created land, dry ground. The dry ground God called land, and the waters He called seas. Then God also created the grass, the trees, and the seeds for everything to grow. So this was the third day. Now, one final thought here, simply. God's day to Him is regarded as one day, but to us, that one day equals 1,000 years for us here on earth. I want us to let it sink in, if you will, okay, for just a moment. Now, let me say it this way, just in case you didn't understand the first time. 1,000 years for us is one day for God. I hope you got that this time. So when God says that this was the first day of creation, actually for us it was 1,000 years in our time that it took God to create what He did it on day 1. Now keep in mind, His was only one day, but for us, it would have been about 1,000 years. I hope that kind of helps to explain a little bit more. You see, God's time and our time are two totally different things. So don't forget this one thing. In 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8, it says, "Dear friends, with the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 8 in the NIV. All right, now Professor Whoopi will be here in a little while to share about the other 4 days of creation. See y'all next time.
Hi, I'm Pete, and I have our object lesson on creation for you today. First, we have a void. This container, before you, have filled with water to represent the void. The second day, watch as we show what God begins to do to bring the light into this mix. Then on the third day, he created the trees and the plants. Then the fourth day, he separated the light which he called the sun, and night in which he placed the moon, to shine in the darkness. He then defined the days, weeks, months, and years to mark time. The fifth day, he created the fish and creatures of the oceans, and the birds of the air. The sixth day, he created all the animals, livestock, and wild beasts, and the creatures that move on the ground. Then he created man. Then God created a woman. And Adam gave her the name of Eve. This is just a simple illustration, but the creation that God made is so much more. He not only created it, he maintains it. And nothing happens if God doesn't allow it. Thanks for joining with me today.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Professor Whoopi, and indeed, I'm here to whoopie up a good one for you. Oh, yes, we are. So, let's look at the next part of the creation story. I will be talking about my part, which actually PF as well. It was in Genesis chapter 1, and beginning to read with verse 1 through verse 31. But my segment is going to be from 14 through 31. And for time's sake, we're not going to take the time to read it, but I want you to follow along, okay? All right, let's look at the last thing that God says, and that is that he was done. When he finished and the sixth day was done, he on the seventh day, the Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 and 2, it says that he is finished and done, and it was good. Oh yeah, so here it goes. In those verses it simply says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all of their vast array. By the seventh day God had finished the work he had been doing, so on the seventh day he rested from all of his work." Oh, I like that. And then in verse 3, he says of chapter 2 there in Genesis, he says this, "Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all of the work of creating that he had done." And again, the reference on that is Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3 in the NIV. All right, now on the fifth day, let's get on with the days. God made the sun and the moon, a greater light and a lesser light, to divide up the day and night, and to mark the days and years. And also he created the stars all on the fourth day. Okay, On the fifth day then, he created the fish and the creatures of the deep waters and the birds of the air. And then he blessed them, and they became fruitful and multiplied in the waters and in the sky. And this was the end of the fifth day. Now, on the sixth day, and I like this one, he created all of the living animals, the livestock, and the wild animals that walk on the earth and on the land. And then God said, let us make man in our own image and likeness, and have them rule over all the animals of the land and the sea. So, this was the end of the sixth day. Well, okay, which brings me to day number 7. On this day, the Bible tells us that God rested, as we read just a few moments ago. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all of the host in them. And he rested on the seventh day from all of his work which he had done. God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all of the work which God created and made. Now, the rest of the team will be here shortly to wrap everything up today, so hang on and don't run off. But it's time for me to say goodbye, auf Wiedersehen, arrivederci, hasta la vega, hasta la vega, hula hula, ho-ho-ho. Last but not least, as always, arubabu. Oh, don't ever forget that God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit, and Professor Whoopi and friends, we love you and we want to see the best for you. Goodbye.
There's so much talked about creation and how things came to be. The truth is that there is a God who created everything from nothing. After all, he is God. Everything he created, he made it so that this creation of his would be able to grow and change over time, and that this planet would be sustainable. Well, that is a big word. Simply means that God created it, and it will last till God says it's over. Not what man says. The other myth that we hear from the world's view is that the planet is billions of years old. No. At this point in our history, our world is almost 7,000 years old. According to history and the Bible. Remember what PF shared. That God's time and our time are very different. But do not forget this one thing, dear friends, with the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. That's found in 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. The Bible, along with many of the people groups that live on this planet, have records of events and things that took place. And they all fit into the timeline of the Bible. Don't forget this. I'm Judy, and I will see you next time for more facts.
Hello everyone. I'm glad to see all of you today. Hasn't this been an exciting start to our new series? I could say a lot today, but I just want to share one thing with you that I know is on the mind of everyone at one time or another. That is, where do the dinosaurs and dragons fit into the Bible? I'm glad you asked this. In the book of Job is where you will find them. Dinosaurs and dragons are mentioned in the Bible. These descriptions are of creatures that were referred to in the book of Job in chapter 40 verses 15-19. It talks about the behemoth. In history, we find reports of such creatures which fit the description in Job. In chapter 41, the entire chapter refers to the dragon who is mighty and very powerful. Remember, as it was stated, a day for God is a day, but to us that day equals 1,000 years. Job lived in 2100 BC. I'll be back next week. See you later.
Greetings everyone, I'm Ben James as your host today. The group of guys are on leave for this series. But don't fret. We have a new team coming your way, and these guys are ready to jump in and get right to it today. You know, I have really learned a lot about the creation today. So I will send it over to them. Take it away, guys.
Hi Mark, I am ready today. I am so excited to share with everyone about God's awesome creation.
Yes, Jim. I too am excited because when God created all that he did, it's so beautiful. At times it may seem hard to explain it all.
Mark, what gets me when I hear about creation is God's timeline. It took him only 6 days. But in reality, it was 6,000 years in our time frame. Yet it's only 1 day with God.
In a way, I still have a hard time wrapping my head around that. Although history from all other countries and civilizations confirms that the Earth is almost 7,000 years old. Yet mankind today denies that there is a God. They say that the Earth is billions of years old.
Yes, I know. But the billions of years does not fit the timeline of the world's civilizations that have been around and have recorded events and records.
Well, history does have a way of telling the truth.
Yes, it does.
Well, these guys started right out of the gate and tackled one of the big questions that some people have wondered about. Yet most are afraid to ask at times. I know that these guys in our next segment are going to cover the dragon issue. So strap in for the ride of your life.
So Jim, now I think it would be great to tell them about the dragons and the dinosaurs that were here on planet Earth.
You do love talking about this. Well, so do I. These dinosaurs and dragons were still around after the flood because Noah had the small babies on the ark with him. Remember, God said, "Take 2 of every animal into the ark." Then because of the changes from the flood that came, the Ice Age happened and most all the dinosaurs and dragons died off.
In the book of Job, beginning with chapter 38, God speaks to Job and tells him that God is in charge over all. And he has set everything that works as a clock that is fine-tuned and never breaks down. What God has set in motion cannot be stopped by man ever.
In Job chapter 40 and verse 15 and on, God tells Job about the dinosaurs and dragons that no man can tame or capture. Then God continues in chapter 41 of the book of Job all about the strength of this beast. No man has ever captured or lives to tell about this venture.
One final thing. History has tales, as well as the ones that are stretched beyond belief. But the reality is that these creatures existed at one time. It's awesome to know that there is a creator who is over all and knows everyone. And he cares for us.
I've said this too many times. Wow! This is an awesome start to our new series, and these guys really nailed it on the head today. Remember that God created all, and He is the caretaker of everything. God has made a world, and all creation, and the heavens which declare and worship the Creator God. See you next time, guys.
Hey everyone, I'm here in the flesh. Well, in the stuffing, because I am a puppet, you know, and puppets really don't have any flesh, but, well, I'll leave that one alone. Anyways, getting on with our story today, you've all been given a lot of details and facts that prove that man did not have anything to do with creation, but that the one true God of all time created everything we see around us. He gives wisdom where wisdom is needed, and He governs all on this earth. I don't know about you, but that's a big, really big, I mean big, ginormous big I can't even wrap my head around this. It's awesome God, and it's what He has done and what He is doing. And when you accept Him as Savior of your life, He comes into your life and really helps you be the boy, girl, man, woman that God wants all of us to be. It has been a really great time today. I'll be back next week with more. See ya, everybody.
This has been an OJO production. Thank you very much.